I once I had lunch with Peter Noone. He's one of the funniest guys ever, super funny. And then he called me back the next day when I was going to a Ringo rehearsal. And I literally had to say, Peter, can I call you back? I'm walking into a Ringo rehearsal. He goes, the fucking Beatles. I always have to wait for the microphone. Also, this is another, I know you're out of time, but you can edit. This is
all going to be chopped up, everything, but go ahead.
This is a great true story. Before the thing that most people don't know who I am, as your numbers will show when you get the download. But people who notice me or stop me on the street, they always notice me because I'm all over the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, those CNN documentaries that Tom Hanks Playtone did with Mark Herzog, and I've consulted on all the music episodes. So my consultation was always put me in a lot of them. I'm really good.
Yeah.
But the funniest one was around the time we did the Grammy tribute to the Beatles, which was that was another thing I lost an Emmy for, was writing that special. But around that same time, we were working on the first episode of the 60s music episode, which was the British Invasion, which is really about the Beatles. And so I was working with Playtone and Hanks and Gary Getzman, who's Hanks's partner, and Mark Herzog on those episodes. But then for a few weeks, I had to then focus on the Grammys and the Grammys Beatles tribute. It was all this intense period. So at the Grammy tribute to the Beatles, Tom Hanks was a guest at the event, and backstage he goes, David, have you seen the final edit? Or you've seen the latest edit? And I said, no, I've been so busy, I haven't seen it. He goes, I said, as a joke, I said, but I hear there's way too much of me. And he went, holy shit, is there too much of you? He goes, there's so much of you that I had to go have Dave Clark from the Dave Clark 5 say some of the things you said so that it wouldn't just be you and me and Questlove talking about the British invasion. So cut to the end of that show, we're sending Ringo and Paul on their private jets to the Letterman Theater so that we can film them with Letterman in the theater, because the whole special was marking the 50th anniversary of the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. So on the way there, Ringo had requested from Tom Hanks a copy of the British Invasion episode to look at on the plane. So Ringo watches it on the plane, and when I hear from him next, he goes, David, you were great in the British Invasion special. He goes, but there was too much Dave Clark. I remember I love that. I love that there's still a little bit of that Beatles Dave Clark 5 rivalry going.
That's funny. We had Dave Clark on the show, and he said just the opposite.
I have things I cannot say about Dave Clark.
Oh, you can. We'll edit them out.
Yeah.
If I said them, he would not be glad all over.
Oh, there it is. Okay.